I would be remiss if I did not ask you, because we have not spoken since Kevin Durant rescinded his trade demand and returned to the Brooklyn Nets. And the team on paper looks great. But how do you think this all works with Kyrie opting in and then Durant opting out and then saying he wants out and then some? I don't know how they put the genie back in the bottle, but they did. How do you think this all works with the Nets, Stephen A.?
I think the Nets could easily be the team in the Eastern Conference representing the Eastern NBA Finals. First of all, I want to applaud the Brooklyn Nets for finally doing something right as an organization. They held steady with their position on Kyrie Irving at the beginning of the season and then reneged and looked like absolute fools in doing so. They handed the franchise over to two superstars in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and that ended up being a disaster. All they've had in 3 years is one playoff series win to show for it, which is why they need to be applauded for standing their ground. Kevin Durant didn't need to go anywhere, and I was glad they kept his ass right where they did, because you signed a 4-year, $198 million extension, and before you honored one day of it, you talking about you wanting to be traded? Hell no. They got his rights without an opt for 4 years. He wants to go someplace after next season, I would oblige, assuming he gives me this season. You're going to give me something for the money I gave you. Originally, it was like $164 million, and then obviously it's $198 million. And, you're talking about $362 million that the Brooklyn Nets have invested in the great Kevin Durant, who I believe to be the best in the world when healthy. And all they had was one playoff series victory to show for it. That is entirely unacceptable. In the case of Kyrie Irving, nobody's more incentivized to play than him. He was expecting a $212 million extension. They told him to opt in with the 1 year at $36.9 million. Okay, you got to show up to work to earn your money. He watched Bradley Beal get over $200 million, along with a couple of other cats, including Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls. Kyrie's box office. He's a superstar who should be paid like that and would have been paid like that had he had the decency to show up to work. He didn't. Now they're saying you want to get paid, you got to show up to work. And then, of course, there's Ben Simmons with his supposed mental health issues. We don't diminish the importance of mental health. We understand how important that is. But there were people who were questioning the legitimacy of that, including myself. I spoke to him privately. He convinced me that his problems were very, very real, divulged a lot of personal stuff that he did not have to, that I would never repeat out of respect for him and his privacy. But he's convinced me that he's ready to go this season. So if Ben Simmons, who was my defensive player of the year 2 years ago, is ready to go with Kyrie and KD ready to go, there's no reason why the Nets shouldn't be a favorite to come out of the East. Milwaukee will have something to say about it. Boston will have something to say about it. But the Brooklyn Nets could easily be in the NBA Finals this upcoming season if those brothers show up to work.
You're simply the best. Nobody better, Stephen A.